So welcome to this Friday, and let's make a quick update on the crypto markets and some news as well, and see what's going on. We have over the last 24 hours, of course, a couple of moves, but nothing major. Mostly IOTA and Cardano moving up a couple of percent. The rest doesn't really interest me that much. Maybe Tezos. And here we have Ethereum holding the line. Nothing much. You have Bitcoin as well. We'll see what happens there, the development over the next few months. And let's type in IOTA and see here. Yes, it's true, it did have a move up here and on huge volume, but as we know, huge volume doesn't have to mean that it's a good thing. It might be the beginning of a move, but as we can see here, big volume, and then kind of the price goes down, but okay, then you get another move higher. But usually, if you're a contrarian investor, which sometimes is good, if you have big down volume days or bars, usually what you want to look for is that things calm down over the next few bars, and then you actually go in the other direction, because if you get huge bars, it means a lot of people here have sold, and it doesn't take a lot of buyers to push the price higher again. So your risk reward after this will be on the upside, which is the complete opposite. And maybe, you know, it's also actually a good trading system to start basing on high volume days. Here as well, you had a big volume spike, and you know, had you bought here, you wouldn't have made money until right now, but you could have shorted in here after a few bars and made money quicker on the downside. But it's just to show that this is one tool that you can use in the technical analysis space, which works pretty good in the stock market as well. And here we have JP Morgan Chase. Crypto innovators will ultimately have to use a bank to move funds. Yeah, this might be true. There might be other banks developing. I mean, there are already some kind of a hybrid banks on the horizon, so we'll see what happens, but it's probably true. Yes, you need some kind of an institution at the end of the line there. More partnerships instead of competition between financial and crypto disruptors. Yeah, that's a good thing. That will develop both their businesses, both the financial space and the crypto space, instead of fighting against each other. So I think that's and every CEO here, Jamie Dimon, apparently said would like to make things faster and cheaper. So from that standpoint, he thinks that it represents a buy into the concept of using blockchain, which is probably correctly stated. Facebook is looking for a lead commercial counsel on blockchain technology with the explicit goal of developing applications. Are you putting together the pieces yet? So I guess they mean that can be huge if Facebook somehow makes a jump into the space. Will 2019 be the year Facebook enters the blockchain world? Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. But for blockchain enthusiasts, of course, it will be interesting if Google, Facebook, and others, Amazon, if they kind of they do something as well in the space there. On Pivx, they talk about transaction fees, you know, how it works. They have it on their homepage. It's interesting to note that the Bitcoin and Ethereum, these guys have a variable fee. And if I understood it correctly, if the more traffic, you know, the fee will go up. And we saw this as a big problem about a year and a half ago, as fees were enormous for just sending small amounts. You would pay a lot of money for that, and so people got really pissed off and started to question the network and so on. Well, with all right, and that's why Pivx they have a fixed amount. It's 0.001 piv, I think, and it will actually get burned afterwards. It will get thrown away. So over time, this will actually decrease the supply of PIV, which is actually a good thing as well. Whereas the transaction fees goes to the miners in Bitcoin and so on. So that's a difference there. You have IOTA here explained, basically just saying that they use a different technology than Bitcoin and Ethereum. They use a Tangle And if you want to get into that, you can read the white paper of IOTA on their homepage and see what that is about. And they did have this move higher, and the saying here there's some kind of a partnership. I have not been able to confirm this at all, if this is true or whatever, or who these guys are, but it looks like it had some kind of an effect on the price. And let's see what else is going on here. We had Forbes on the Forbes site. You have these kind of what to look out for 2019, 2020. You have less hype and scams, more substance, and that's probably the case. I would agree with that. 5 blockchain trends everybody should know about. There's certainly less scams now than when this first came out, but it's always like that in the beginning. The internet bubble in the 90s, same thing. Before we had these established companies like eBay, Amazon, Apple, and so on and so on. There were a lot of crap companies out there with the .com in their name, and people bought them for that. Blockchain Internet of Things convergence continues to gather pace. Okay, we'll have to see about that. More blockchain offerings from financial services industry. Well, this is something that we're actually seeing now in some countries like Switzerland and Malta and so on. More investment opportunities, yes, that's going to come. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will still be big business. Most likely, if we stay here and this technology develops further and people come up with these applications where you can use it better to improve everything, for maybe, if we think financial, in the banking and so on, but also maybe in other things like protecting your data. I mean, there's been some cases in Scandinavia where this has been poorly maintained, and possibly with blockchain and so on, your data can be safer. Although it's probably never 100% safe, but it could certainly reduce some of the hiccups that we have seen. Blockchain could reduce the cost of international transfers. We're seeing that on and on everywhere. Banking using maybe Ripple or other, like Stellar or other currencies to replace SWIFT. And this was a comment actually made by the IMF, Christine Lagarde, last November at the FinTech conference. And so although you always have to be a bit skeptical on these IMF guys, seeing what they stand for, but good to see. The Bitcoin for beginners. This is from the Crypto Potato. What is Bitcoin? Blah blah blah. Here, where can you store it? How much does it cost? What can I buy for Bitcoin? And so on. Just a few headlines to get into to further update the amount of knowledge. And what can I buy for Bitcoin? I mean, this is an area that we have seen. It's certainly expanding. I mean, I think now in some companies actually offer traveling. You can buy your trip with Bitcoin and other cryptos, and a few years ago, I think it was in 2016, you could even buy apartments in Dubai if you wanted to. If you had made some money in Bitcoin at that point, you could take it out, or actually buy a whole apartment complex, or just one apartment, depending on the cash situation, with Bitcoin. That was, of course, not the case all over the place. It was more like a test, I think, in Dubai, where they also seem to want to create some kind of a digital town or whatever. Help of companies such as Sapo and BitPay. Credit cards can be linked directly to Bitcoin wallets, and nothing new there, I guess. And then we have is now the time to buy Bitcoin, the 2019 edition, and here they just go over a little bit. Timing the market is almost impossible. Yeah, it just depends how controlled it is. The more controlled it is, the more difficult the timing will be. The less controlled it is, the easier the timing is, as we have seen over the last few years. And so it's just an article talking a bit about that. What are the different kinds of people that invest in or the different type of investors, traders, and of course it's the same as in the stock market. Perma bulls, hodlers, always bullish, and perma bears, bearish, always bearish. Day swing traders, you have like we spoke about, if you see a high volume day up or down, you take a position in the opposite direction. You have trend followers, fear of missing out, FOMO crowd, though it's not completely true, that's the crowd. Trend following can be very profitable. It's just different styles basically. Long-term traders focus on TNA and market fundamentals, so technical analysis and market fundamentals. Yeah, everybody should be to some extent focusing on that with any kind of investment. Market cycles, comparing the 2014 and the 2018 charts, and this is kind of interesting because every 4 years there's a halving of the Bitcoin the mining of the Bitcoins that you, a few years ago maybe you got 20 coins per block or something, and or whenever they were given out in the time period, and I'm not even sure where it is now. It could be at 12, and at some point later on this year, next year, it will be halved again, and I think then it's down to 6.5 Bitcoins or something. And so this is of course the period then where you will actually you will see a price increase, or it has been over the last 8 years or whatever. You have always seen this kind of trend. So we're getting closer to that now, or maybe a few months away towards something similar happening like we had in 2014-15, where we also had a very long bear market during that time, where people were counting everything out. You can see Bitcoin at that point was down to 200 or something, and then we started this huge move over the next year and a half, and and you know, where was I here? And so we might have, you see this period here, 14, 15, whatever, into 16. We might be in a similar, it looks almost identical. So we might be setting up soon here to you know, who knows where it might go the next time. If people stay positive, if more people come into the space and believe in this, then you know, this could easily go to 100,000. I mean, it's you know, look what it did here. How much is 200 to 20,000? Is it 10 times? No, it's much more than that. I don't know. You know, it's a lot of XXX, and of course you had the same before here in 2000. What is it, 12 or something like that? So let's see if we get a similar move this time around. And finally, it's just talking about here esports on the blockchain. Could adoption come from the gaming side? It's possible. I mean, that there are more and more of these guys sitting in front of a computer gaming different kinds of military simulation scenarios, which is a bit scary maybe, but you know, it's a growing industry, and can blockchain and coins and stuff come into this? I mean, it's going to be a multi-billion thing, and you know, maybe most of the famous online gamers playing by this Fortnite, just like in traditional sports, fans follow their favorite esports personalities religiously. And with this rapid growth and also startups that we're seeing all over the place, they're also looking for crypto payments and so on. Yeah, that's about it. Keep up with the developments, and let's see what happens here over the next few months. Could be more interesting than last year. Take care, guys.